sure everything's working. You can see Thomas the Woodcarver's working away on his scroll saw, and I am just setting up to get going on mine here. So a few little things just to start off. As you can see, we've got some projects ready to go, and I'm just looking for the right the right equipment, just to show you some of the things that you can do. I've got a chisel, a gouge. I've prepared my projects, and yeah, we're ready to go. Carver's joined us. Hope all is well. Thanks for joining us as always. I tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a spike, but as I can't find one, I'll have to use a broken screw. So yeah, these projects that you can see us working, that you see us marking out, they're coasters. I mean, this one here, we could actually turn that into a box as well. Oh, we've got a few people with us already, so thank you for joining us. Yeah, this one here, originally, I've just actually redesigned it, but originally I've used it before as a box lid, but you can use it as a coaster as well. So I thought we'd demonstrate it. And one question I'll put to everyone at the start, it's clever, dropping it on the floor. Yeah, have a look at these projects, and the question I'll ask is, as we're going through it, let us know your thoughts on which one you sort of think is best then from a business point of view. So the first thing that I'm going to do, this is an idea that was presented to us by somebody, and I'm going to have a little go at doing. The first thing I'm going to do, and you'll see this in a number of our demonstrations, is to use some packing tape. It's not essential because I'm cutting out mahogany, and mahogany tends to work quite well in terms of cutting out. But that packing tape, the reason we use it, where's that gouge? There it is. It lubricates the blade. So I just thought we'll do that before we start, just to demonstrate it. And that's why I wanted my spike, because of course we just use that spike to pop the holes so we can feed that blade through. We're going to be starting off with a paw print design, and as I said, that's the question that I'll ask everybody as we go along with this, is which of these designs do you think is best? Oh, Gabby's with us. Hello Gabby, hope all is well with you. Which of these designs then is best really from a point of view of us being successful in the business and the things that we make? So we're starting with a paw print. We've then got, all going well, a cat design, and after that we've got a Celtic design that I drew out earlier. There we are. So we've wrapped all of that up, excuse me, and we're popping just through where that tape has gone over those holes. So we just break those just like so. And before we get started, the last thing that I'm going to have a little look at is to just get that plate out of the way. And the reason we do that is when we're doing pierce work, if you remove the plates, excuse me, it just makes that pierce work cutting a little bit easier. But that's the main question with this one. When you're looking at these projects from a business point of view, share your thoughts as we go along, which is the most effective for us to do as a business. So we're going to have mask on. Thomas Woodcarver as well, he's cutting out a Lovespoon. Oh, greetings from Sweden, always informative. Oh, thank you very much, Johnny. Great to hear from you, and thanks for joining us. As you can see, Thomas Woodcarver, his scroll saw is the one that's cutting out the Lovespoon at the moment on the right hand side, and my scroll saw that I'm working on is on the left hand side as you're looking, and we're going to be cutting out a coaster. Any questions, any thoughts as we go along as well, let us know. It's always great to hear from you all. And as well, share any work you're doing at the moment. The Carver's been doing some nice projects, Gabby as well, so check out those videos on their channels. But after the live stream, of course. Now if you're wondering as well, we're cutting out 3 layers at the same time. So that's a little method as well that we use. We use that packing tape to make it easier for the cutting, but we also cut out 3 layers at the same time, allowing us to be a little bit more productive in the work that we do. So note with me as well, one thing, we've explained it a few times, but one thing always worth noting, excuse me, I always turn whatever I'm cutting out, I regularly turn it around, just so I can actually see how it's cutting on the back edge. Sometimes you get a blade that's not so great, or you get a blade that isn't cutting as you would like it to, and especially on the bottom layer then, this can cause a problem. And so I always check it regularly, just to make sure that it's cutting out nice and cleanly. This wood as well, it's wood that's a little bit thin for us to make love spoons from. We do use it for making things like fridge magnets and boxes, but it's ideal. It was panels off some mahogany furniture that nobody wanted, so we bought it, and we can then use that to make coasters from. And mahogany for us is a wood we find that cuts well. So yeah, we can use it to make coasters from. And if we were going to cut them out one at a time, it probably wouldn't be that sort of viable from our family workshop point of view. But because we're cutting out 3 layers at the same time, it just makes things a little bit, yeah, a little bit better from when it comes to that sort of business angle. Thomas Woodcarver's coming in. Problems?
Do you want me to drill down there and make that curve?
Oh, I've missed them. Yeah, I've missed out 2 drill holes.
The thing is,
yeah, no, it'll work.
Yeah, but that's straight.
Yeah.
That's curved. You
yeah.
sure you want to go
Spot
there?
on. Yeah, that's how we've done it. That's
so
how
you
we've always
wanna
done it
drill
before. Yeah, drill a hole there, and then drill a hole there. Yeah, perfect. There we are. Thomas Woodcarver's. Yeah, I missed out those 2 drill holes, but yeah, that's how we would do that one.
One is curved and the other is flat.
No, it's fine.
You're happy with that?
Yeah, it's like a scroll, it's like a little bit of flare on the outside of the scroll. That's all. There we are. That's Thomas Woodcarver checking up on my design. Right, so we'll carry on and we'll have cut out the surround. So far, so good. One little thing I was going to mention to everyone as well, following on from last week, Yeah, our live stream on the Lovespoon. We did have our school join us, which was fantastic, so glad they could join us for that one there. And the one of the interesting ones, actually, there were a number of people, including Aubrey, hi Aubrey if you do join us, who shared an article, just a little blurb on the Lovespoon that was sort of doing the rounds on social media. And you may have been wondering why I sort of didn't say too much. A few people asked me if I'd written it and things like this. I tell you what it was, and I'd be interested to get, you know, Thomas Woodcarver's take on this when we get a chance. The reason I didn't say anything much is, for me, there were actually inaccuracies in the article. It had thousands and thousands of likes and views, which is great because any sort of promotion, any exposure for the Lovespoon tradition, it can only be good for everybody. But there is a frustration as well, because there are certain ideas and there are certain things said about the Lovespoon tradition, and there's no evidence to back up some of these things, and it's a bit frustrating then, because it leads people to believe something and it's just not true. So yeah, if you do come across that article, some interesting things, but just a note of caution that I wouldn't actually agree. And you know, we've done a lot of research on the tradition, and there were certain things that were a bit misleading. So yeah, check that one out if you can, and see if you can pick out on some of the things that are just wrong. As you can see, we're well on with this particular project, and these three that I picked out, there's another sort of side to it of why we've selected them. This first one, we're going to use the scroll saw and the pierce work to create the design. The next one, we're going to do a similar thing where we're using that pierce work to create the design. However, for our cat, for the design, we're going to use that line art technique. And what we mean by that, the lines of the scroll saw, they're what creates the image. So it's using that negative space to create the image. And then the final one, this one here, that's our Celtic inspired design, and that will be a combination of scroll saw and wood carving. So we're going to carve all of that out as well for you to see after. So it just highlights how we use different methods, different styles, different techniques to create different designs. Right, so again, feed that blade in. We got that quick release blade, tighten it up, so put the tension on, mask and ear defenders on again, and we start cutting. Right, so that's the end of that one, and it's always worth checking your blade, because what happens sometimes, you get little bits of wood that get stuck on the blades as they drop down the hole like that. Yeah, and they can sort of jam and affect the performance of the blade. So yeah, always worth checking. Check it all out on the back as well. And what we will do, in next door we have a router, and it's got like a base on it. You'll have seen it in some of our videos if you watch our channel. And we've got it turned upside down, and there's a little cutter, and all we'll do, we'll just run it round the edges of these, and it just softens it off and gives it more of a finish, and again makes it look more distinctive as a paw print. But simple little technique. In terms of as well getting this shape, this is where our coronet saw comes in really, really well, because this was a whole massive panel that we started out with, and I just went on the coronet saw and just cut square, 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 just keep cutting out squares, cut a line and then turn them into squares. And so that is a massive time saver. All it needs afterwards, just a little bit of a sand just to finish it off, and it's a quick way of producing a larger volume of items. So in all, we prepared today 25 blanks ready for making coasters from, and that's then 3 cut out. So we'll cut them out at 3 at a go, but we'll prepare anything 20, 30, 50, and that's how then we can be a little bit more productive then, and you know, compete with CNCs, mass production, that sort of thing, cheap labour. So that is how we go about doing it to sort of give ourselves the best chance to compete. So once more, we've cut out that preparation. So that's all done, that basic outline on the outside of it. Just thought we'd stop for the moment though, and you can see what Thomas the Woodcarver is doing on the other side. I know you'll have to excuse the colour on that one. It's his old video camera that we got using there. Probably about 15 years old, that one, but it does a great job. And yeah, what he's doing, he's cutting out that basic shape for the Lovespoon and just getting it ready for wood carving. You can see that is basically, I mean, to give our background for anyone who doesn't know, that's how we got into scroll sawing. Is we were looking for a method of cutting out our Lovespoons more efficiently, more quickly, and that was when we sort of got into the scroll sawing. Now immediately, I've noticed that on this one, I've made a little mistake. Not a big deal, not a big mistake, but just to give you an idea, if I'd have drilled that hole that I just fed it into, if I'd have drilled it there, that would have been much better, because it's a junction, and when you're doing line art, if you can drill it out at a junction, it's much better. For some reason, I've gone and drilled it there, and I would have been far better off drilling it down there. It's only little points, but we're always looking for little ideas just to help out. If you're doing line art, drill it on a junction, makes life a little bit easier for you. Now then, just to explain some of the things that we're doing, this is a good example for how guidelines are literally that. They're there to give us a guide, a rough guide, but you'll notice that I very much don't stick to them. I improvise and change as and how and when I need to. Now just when I turn it round there, everything I'm happy with, everything I feel is clean, although there's a little bit extra there. So all I'm going to do, that whisker, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger again, and what that will mean then, it'll just clean up that finish and improve that for us. So that'll make a difference then. Yeah, and interested with these, from a business point of view, we've asked it a couple of times, which one do you think out of the 3 designs? Keep watching, and at the end let us know which you feel will be the sort of best from a business point of view. Okay, so we're well on there. That's 6 of our coasters cut out. So making good progress. And Thomas the Woodcarver, by the look of it, yeah, he's just finishing off on his one that he's working on there, the Lovespoon that he's cutting out. So yeah, all in all, some good progress that we're making. Now this one here, as I'm working on the other ones, I was just thinking about what I'm going to do with this one here. So I'm going to do the pierce work on all of this. And I'm thinking that we may make some boxes, not just a coaster. So I'll demonstrate making a coaster with the top layer, but the bottom, maybe the bottom layer, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll take the bottom layer off the stack and cut the surround, and I'll explain, as I'm going along, I'll explain why I'm going to do that. How are you getting on?
Well, I got it. Situation here. Oh, take my mask off.
Yeah.
No better?
Yeah, that's him. So what are you looking at?
Well, what I'm concerned at, you see, that's supposed to be a leaf there.
It's just a little stem that goes behind.
Yeah, but can I?
Yeah.
So, I'm taking it up.
Yeah, you keep pulling it away so nobody can see.
Can I just sort of, you know, I'm a bit concerned because it's so. You understand? Can you see what I'm getting at? It's sort of not natural. So I just wonder.
I wouldn't worry too much because it's symmetrical on the two sides.
Yeah, but I was
we'll
going to do that
carve
one
it
and
down.
that one the same.
We'll carve it down with a bit of depth if you want to, but I wouldn't worry too much.
You carve it down with a bit of depth.
Yeah, it'll be carved away, so it'll be carved down. But if you want to do that, do it. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. Have you changed over to, because you were using a number 12 blade, weren't you? Have you changed over the number 9?
No, same one.
Same one?
Yeah, it's artist impression then, is it?
I always go by this.
I know why you put me on that machine in there now.
Why is that?
Because I can't grumble, I can't have a grouse.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's going back to this one. I'll tell you what it is. The person we're making the design for, they've seen it, they're happy with it.
Okay.
So I always think, well,
okay,
at that stage, like if they come back and they say, look, could you change this? And they ask for it to be done, then fair enough. But and the reason was it so it sort of joined in.
Yeah, I can see that.
But there we are. It's not a big deal either way, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was talking about, one thing I was talking about, I was going to get your opinion on. Well, I put it to everybody. I'll be interested to know what everyone's thoughts is. You know, from a business point of view, which one of our coasters is actually the best from a business point of view. So we will see what people say on that before we comment on that one. The other one, though, I was explaining. Oh, hello there, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Hope all is well. The articles on the Lovespoon. I was saying a little bit about that because, you know, where they
Load of cobblers. Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas the Woodcarver tends to he pulls his punches. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. When, you know, I mean, you've been working with the Lovespoon since 1969, and then they come along and they start telling people things, and they're just not true.
Yeah.
Like there's no mention of sailors.
Yeah.
No mention of sailors whatsoever. It just seems to me that, like with social media and stuff like that, one of the problems you do get, it seems that people, well, they can just write whatever they want. Doesn't matter, does it? And it doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we are. There we are. That's Thomas the Woodcarver's.
I didn't grouse
assessment.
about it. You were grousing about that.
No, I am grousing about that.
As you get older,
but I couldn't have put it. Yeah, but
you get one of a grouse.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it I couldn't put it across as well as you, just to say load of cobblers.
Yeah.
There we are. Don't beat around the bush. Tell us what you really think.
But
of
it is, isn't it? You know.
It was disappointing to think that people can't even be bothered to research.
People are actually publishing books on the subject.
Well, they're claiming to be historians.
And they're putting in then a list of the symbols.
And then we turn around and go, yeah, where's that written down then? Where did you get that information from? Oh, well we just made it up. And that's the truth, they're just making it up. It's disappointing because, you know, when you actually research it properly, it's a fascinating history, the Lovespoon.
I mean,
and it's a lovely open tradition where you can interpret things in different ways.
It is. It is, you know, and then somebody comes along.
But we
and
got
says,
a modern world. They want to put rules in it,
Yeah.
and they want to tell people, "Oh, this is what it was, the earliest one," and it is a load of cobblers. Like sailors used to carve love spoons. So this claim that there was a certain wood, nonsense, because the sailors.
But it didn't. Apparently, in the Victorian era,
Yeah.
a lot of women used to carve.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's there's lots of things. That,
Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah, Victorian women. It was popular in high society, wasn't it? Wood carving. Yeah. There we are. We should get back to our scroll saws.
I've only got 4 left to go.
I've got. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I got 4 and I got that little bit on the top. Looks.
I got about 5 cuts.
Yeah.
I just noticed as well. We're going to run out of time. We're not going to have time to carve
Take
these.
your time now. I'll carry on these.
There we are.
Oh, I must say one thing, so that everybody knows.
He's back.
He's back. This
Yeah.
is very hard oak.
Yeah.
This is very easy mahogany.
There we are. Is that why you burnt it on the top of there? Is it?
Oh dear. Well, I was trying to save money on that blade. You see, that's what it was.
There's a piece of wood stuck somewhere to stop me cutting. Let's have a look. Is it on the bottom of the blade? Yeah. We've got some books things. There's so many books and most of them contradict each other. Spot on, Mark. Yeah, a lot of information out there on it, and as you said, there is a lot of contradictory stuff. Slight change of plan. I'm going to stick to, well, I'm going to stick to the original plan and just cut out the surround for now instead of trying to separate a layer for doing a box. I can always sort it out afterwards if I want to turn it into a box and just put a layer behind one of the pieces. So yeah, that can all be sorted. Let's have a look. Where's my, where's that little, where did I put the silver? Where did I put the silver disc? There it is. Right, how are we doing for time? Yeah, 25 past, so we should be okay. Let's just put that disc on and I will cut all around the surround of our Celtic design. Job done?
Yeah.
There we are.
I'll have to go with that bit of burn.
You'll have to, what, sorry?
I'll have to go with a bit of burn, I will, at the top there.
Yeah, but that's the bulk of that one
yeah.
sorted out. Brilliant. And I've decided that I'm just going to cut the surround with this. I tell you what, when we separate this, it'll be worth looking at. We may be able, we may be able to sort of get away with just marking the lines. This may be quite a nice little coaster for us.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we haven't got to do loads.
No.
Excuse me, we haven't got to go crazy with the carving and do loads of depth and detail. Just a few little lines on there may do the job.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think if we just marked a few lines on it'd finish it off nicely. I think it would do the job. Die with the coaster, yeah. Have you thought of just burning the lines? Yeah, it's something that, of course, pyrography. Yeah, so another way you could go is to just burn on the lines and mark it out in that way. I reckon for myself, just mark it on there, because I've never, to be honest with you, something I've never really done is any pyrography. I reckon if we mark them on there, I think it would do the job well. Right, I'm just moving over. Let's have a look. We're going to go across to that one, and we're also going to change. Bear with me 2 seconds.
Ah, the tea is here.
Let's have a look. I need to turn that one off. There we are. Right.
See what happens when you work for your son?
Hopefully.
You didn't tell me the tea was done.
Tea's done. Right. Hopefully. Yeah. We're on to the workbench now. And the final little job to finish off is separating all of our key rings. Our coasters away from one another, and that I'm gonna run out of time, I'm afraid, with the wood carving. We'll have to show that another time, but it's basically we got 1, we got 2 and 3. Ooh, doesn't want to release on the other side, so we'll turn it over. Can we get it away? No, it's not going to do it. Let's just go down by here. He's just splintering a little bit there. He was a bit too stuck in that corner. That's alright though, we can sort that out on the belt sander. I tell you what that is part as well, some of that glue hasn't fully gone off, which is unusual. Right, And yeah, go back to that question. Any thoughts then? Which one is the most viable when it comes to the workshop, when it comes to business and sales? Well, let me give you the insight into it. The cat is probably the best in terms of sales, the most popular. However, as you could probably have noticed, it's a fair bit of work. The paw print, it sells really well, and it's a little bit less work. And then this new Celtic design that we've left over by the scroll saw, if we can get that right, where we're not doing too much carving, that I think is quite a promising design for us. But there we are. Hopefully that's an interesting little insight into how we do things. It certainly we got a number of items there. We got a footballer waiting. Hello, Sammy. You say hello to everyone. There we are. He's all ready to go. He's got his football kit on. There we go. And just before we go, can we get him on the? Can we get him on screen here? Let's have to do that. Where is he? Come and say hello, Sammy. There we are. Well, I hope everyone has a great week. Here's the. Oh, my camera doesn't want to. Oh, I tell you what it is. It's the cable. Say hello, Sammy.
Hello.
There he is. Let's focus you. There is Mr. Samuel ready for his football. There we go. Right. There we go. We put it onto there. Right. There we go. Hopefully that was interesting. I'm down there somewhere. Hello. Hopefully it was interesting. Hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining us. Thomas Woodcarver's got his drink.
I got my tea at last.
Hang on, there he is. The problem I've got is this cable's being pulled about a bit, so there we are.
Yucky da.
Yucky da, and have a great week. Thanks for joining us. And the carver said it, the ball's the easiest. Yeah, probably the easiest and the most viable for us to use. Thanks again.